There ain't a better time than now. We'll start and fade out. I lie when I say it's right. For all I know we're fine. There's something that I can't quite hide. I know that you wake at night. It hurts when I try a lot. I'll say what I can't deny.
Hello everyone, my name is Peter Mader and I'm the President of the South Australian Secondary Principals Association. And our role in assisting educational leaders is through policy advocacy and change, but also in creating the conditions under which educational leaders can be the best leaders that they possibly can be, and shift the paradigm for learning from an industrial model to a much more enterprising model. We've had an enduring relationship now for 5 years with Professor Yong Zhao, and he's with me today. And our main reason for changing the nature of that relationship and having Yong work directly with a network of schools is that we believe we've got so far on the journey, but we really need an investment now in some focused learning around what we can do as educational leaders, working with young people in our schools to have them change the paradigm. And we're really excited about this.
Well, thanks Peter for having me. I think SASPA is a network that takes this action. It shows great courage and also commitment to children's education. I've been really impressed with how SASPA's invasions in new type of education takes action and invites schools that includes teachers and leaders and students to work together with me on the year-long journey to make the transformation. And this transformation, I think, as Peter mentioned, is from an old, outdated education paradigm that serves to prepare homogeneous, low-level, simple skill workers for the assembly line towards a 21st century artificial intelligence-driven and smart machine, globalized world. And that requires a very difficult thinking. I mean, the kind of work I'm engaging with SASPA is really to help schools to understand right now how the old model of education does not serve all students. It shortchanges students' potential, shortchanges the potential of our staff and our investment, and it depresses a lot of students because the old model uses one type of assessment or only use one set of skills and knowledge to judge the value of individual students, and who are very diverse, who may otherwise become great, but they were judged by ATAR, by a grade, but not planned to be deficient. And so we underserve our students in that regard, but also we underserve our students by shortchanging their future, because we are preparing them for a future that's uncertain. But today, we have national curriculum, we have so-called evidence-based instruction. They're all based on the past. And whatever we want our students to learn are based on the past. So in the sense that we're using the past to help prepare them for the future, but the future is changing. So I'd like to say our work is to prepare children not for the future, but to create their own future. They are the creators of the future. They do not walk into an uncertain future. So the work we do with our schools is not to give them a program, but to build the human capacity in leaders, in teachers, in students to take the challenge, to create their own transformation, their revolution. That's why our program is called Partners in Entrepreneur Education Revolution. It's called PEER, P-E-E-R. And the essence of this work is fairly actually simple, even commonsensical. Number one, we understand every individual student has a jagged profile of talents and interests, meaning that for all kinds of reasons, nature and nurture, or nature via nurture, that they may be stronger in some areas and weaker in other areas, have stronger interest in some things and less strong interest in other areas. Children are different, we know that. And that difference is worth cultivating, and that difference is precisely the weapon we have against smart machines as human beings. Before, the diversity was not of much value because we were expecting a homogeneous workforce. Today, that diversity is worth cultivating. That's number one. Number two, our work is to do, we need to start our schooling with our children identifying problems worth solving. They need to engage in meaningful learning, purposeful learning. We know our schools disengage our children not. Our children need to know if in order for them to thrive in the future, they need to use their unique talents, their diverse geographical profiles, abilities and interests, and their effort to create value for others, to create a better world, because their value can only be realized in providing service, making products to address the needs of others. So our second pillar, the first one was to respect individuals. Then we are talking about product-oriented learning. So when we start from respecting children's strength, understand everybody is worth cultivating, so we call that personalizable education. We follow the child, not impose on something on them. Second thing, as I said, we want to make school meaningful. So they're engaged in solving problems worth solving and going through the process of aspiring to create high quality products that's of value to others. Also in the process to learn to collaborate with others, to understand genuine collaboration means outsourcing your weakness to others. So, you're good at something, you admit you're not good at something, and when your weakness can always be addressed by other people's strength. So that makes us the genuine collaboration. Then the third pillar we need to understand today in our new paradigm is that we do live in a globalized world. Today with this technology, I don't mean just online technology, with jet airplanes, with traveling, we can really learn from anybody on the globe without being confined to our isolated classrooms in our schools in South Australia or anywhere we are. We can learn from anybody. And then the second thing we can do globally, we should be learning with other people. Today's partners in learning will be tomorrow's partners in business, tomorrow's partners in politics, in scientific inquiry. If we have friends across the globe, if you're in 5th grade or 7th grade, you nerd with somebody from another country, it's much less likely you're going to get in a war with each other. So we have a more peaceful, prosperous world. But more importantly, today's learning needs to be global. So we have global learning partners, learn with anyone from the globe. But also we have to have service orientation. We should learn for other people on the globe. We need to realize, our children to recognize that we live in a very privileged place. There's so many children who are as smart as we are, who work as hard as we are, do not have the same opportunities. We need to bring up their well-being to help solve their problems. Because in the globalized world, any problem is global in nature. We cannot be the only one who lives a prosperous life. We need the whole globe to do that. So we need our children to think about, again, our value is realized through global entrepreneurship. We create value for people in other places. To summarize, the whole 12-year journey with SASPA is to help SASPA members, the first group of about 10 schools, with staff, with students, with school leaders, to create a new journey, to invent a new paradigm. So our job is not to fix the past. Our job is to invent the future together. And the future is about respect every individual student. It's about creating authentic products. It's about understanding us as global citizens. We need to serve and learn from everybody on the globe.
Thank you for that, Yon. And I think you've actually fast forwarded. You mentioned 12 years, and I think what you're really trying to say was 12 months. But when I actually think about it, this is a first network of 10 of our schools. If we bring another network on every year for the next 7 years, that will be all of our schools. And since you've been working with us already for 5 years, you say you're not good at maths, but 5 plus 7 equals 12. So I think that's terrific.
That works good for you.
That works for me. So we're about to head into some workshops with the network schools, 10 of them, and the energy has been fabulous. But what we're really focusing on this morning is turning the idea of a problem that we want to solve into action. And that, whilst that's come from the students, we've got leaders and teachers talking about that today in terms of the conditions that they need to place around it that are enabling of young people to be empowered to undertake this work. And if I can be a young person solving a problem that matters within my school and my community, then I can be an adult, transitioning into the adult world, and I can do that for the rest of my life, following my passion, following my interest in solving problems, and using the skills and methodologies that I've learned along the way to enable me to do that in adult life every much as I can do it now in student life.
There ain't a better time than now. We're starting to fade out. I love when I say it's right. Forward and on, we're fine. It's something that I can't quite hide. I know that you wake at night. It hurts when I try a lot. I'll say